welcome to another episode of Market Markup. This is your host, Lance, co-founder of BH Capital Enterprises, where I teach Black people how to navigate the markets using price action. And more specifically, I teach people how to read charts. What I'm doing for the month of July is a 30-day chart challenge where basically I'll be looking at and evaluating charts every day during the month of July and posting them to my YouTube channel. And most of the tickers that I'm looking at come from other people, so subscribers, people that I'm connected to on social media. And Coinbase is no different. I had a brother leave in another video, and I appreciate him watching and participating. He left a few tickers for me to check out, so those tickers will be the tickers that I'll be looking at over the next few days and putting out. If you are new here, welcome. I appreciate your watching. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button. Whatever you feel compelled to do, I am grateful. And I'm also grateful for those of you that return to consume my content time after time, video after video. Share them, with your friends. Hopefully, you guys are getting value out of these videos. Be sure to check out some of my old market markups and compare them to the charts of the companies that those videos are referencing. But let's jump into Coinbase. Coinbase, I actually haven't looked at since it IPO'd, and I saw that initial run up to the all-time high of nearly 430, and it just hasn't been able to get back there. This is the yearly chart, and so because Coinbase IPO'd this year or went public this year, you will only see one candle on the yearly chart. So as you can see, so far, just mostly bearish for the year. Um, I'm going to just mark uh, the, I guess, all-time low so far. And that's not to say that Coinbase can't get any lower than that. But for now, that's where the low is. So right at 208 is where it is. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to the monthly chart. See if we can get some more data from there. And as you can see on the monthly chart, I mean, it started off in like phase three of the market cycle. Looks like it's been consolidating over the past couple of months, and maybe transitioning into, phase one of the market cycle. But what I'm also seeing on this monthly chart is higher lows. So just be watching. I would just be watching between this 260s down to about the 235 area, as far as the monthly chart is concerned. So as a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and mark that level, um, that range, I mean, and this is basically what we're dealing with on the monthly chart, So for the past couple of months, most of the price action has been happening between about 235 and 260. Um, let's see here. So we're going to phase one monthly. We're going to name this one the same, since, we're referencing the same range of price action. Okay. So as far as the monthly chart is concerned, we got our levels there. I'm going to do a little trend line here just to show you guys pretty much that, maybe sentiment has started to change here on the monthly chart. Not a no breakout yet. Don't know when that's coming or if that'll come, but I've spoken about that whole downward trend line or bearish trend line break. That sometimes well, a lot of times it's broken by consolidation. So, in my opinion, until the price moves out of this monthly range, the sentiment is still, kind of undecided with this one. The jury's still out. So it'll continue to consolidate coming out of here. But just keep an eye on the fact that, so far over the past 3 months, it's putting in higher lows. Of course, be paying attention to see how the month of July turns out. And then, definitely be looking at the monthly chart on during the coming months. Um, I'm gonna name this one bearish trend line break on monthly. So we're gonna make that white a little bit bigger, and we're gonna bold that so I'm gonna be able to see it pretty well. And I'm gonna just move this down a little bit. Actually, I'm going to change that arrow. I always get the top and bottom thing mixed up, but let's do top. Okay. And then we're just gonna actually so there we go. All right, so we got the bearish trend line break on monthly, and we're referencing this month of July so far. And that's pretty much it, as far as what I'm seeing when it comes to this whole monthly chart. Um, I could just, kind of draw a trend line to connect these low points, but, you can clearly see that. So let's move on to the weekly chart. Um, the thing about looking at a company such as Coinbase with a less than 1 year of price action is that you don't necessarily have a lot of historical data to gather what I believe would be um, more solid information. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. So here on the weekly chart, we're also seeing that sentiment appearing to change. Um, this week, in my opinion, is going to be very important um, with the fact that so far it's been a bearish week. And the price is acting as though it is transitioning into phase two of the market cycle. But it's, in my opinion, it's going to need to push up this week and at least close at, the 255 area. Even better if it can get up to 260, but, it may or may not happen. But you can clearly see over the past 3 weeks, not including this week, um, Coinbase had a nice bullish push off the lows, which was close to the historical lows, but not quite. It was right around 210. Um, no idea what that's about. Right around 210. And it had a very, very nice push, and it actually did get up to 261, but it failed there. So we know that there's quite a bit of resistance there in that 260s area. Um, well, 255 to 260s area. So definitely keep that in mind. Um, ideally, uh, ideally, I would say that a stronger case for Coinbase continuing on next week, uh, being bullish, is a close this week at least above 250. And that's just my opinion. Um, it could also just kind of consolidate in this monthly range on the weekly chart. But you can clearly see some the price transitioning through the market cycle. So we got phase three here, phase one down here, and then transitioning back to phase two possibly here. Um, so like I said, just keep an eye on this phase two of the market cycle on this weekly chart. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put that here. Phase four, I'm sorry, that's phase four, not phase three. We're gonna make this, gonna make that white, a little bigger, bolder. Phase four, we're gonna come down here. Phase one, text note. We're gonna make this bigger and bolder. And we want the arrow on the top. Oh, bottom. Okay. So we're going to activate drawing and we're going to push this up just a tad to show phase one and then possibly phase two here. So, basically it looks like on the weekly chart it has started to pick up some bullish sentiment for sure, off that historical low area. Um, the question is, whether it will continue or if it'll just kind of consolidate around this area where it has been consolidating. Um, Actually, I will draw a trend line here and basically show you guys where I'd be looking for a minimum close at. See, ideally, I wouldn't want the price to close below um, below this trend line here. And I'm just going to make this trend line like a different color, like maybe purple or something. We'll do that. All right. So that's the sentiment right now on the weekly chart. And until that's broken, it is what it is. And this thing could consolidate past it. It could continue on this trajectory. It could, fall below and fall back down toward 230s and maybe even lower than that. But, time will tell. Earnings is coming, projected to be about a month from now. So, keep that in mind as well. Um, that's pretty much it on the weekly chart. Let's see if we can get anything else from this daily chart. Okay, so on this daily chart, in my opinion, this thing is pretty much overall still in phase one of the market cycle. Um, yeah, it's still in phase one of the market cycle. So I'm gonna remove the text notes here. Get those off. I'll take this trend line off. I'm gonna take this one off. Okay, so basically it has been consolidating for several days, like several days, at this point, over a month, and probably close to 2 months by now. And so for me, the area represented between the historical low and the top side of this phase one monthly, so that 260s area, is just consolidation, in my opinion. But what you're seeing over the recent, few weeks, like we saw on that weekly chart, is we're seeing higher lows. So it's starting to shift upward toward the upper range of that consolidation, upper area, that consolidation range. So for me, if I were to consider a position on Coinbase, I would probably be looking and waiting to see if it can get up to that 255 area and then up and over 260s. Um, if it can do that, let's see. Matter of fact, let's do this. If it can do that, I can see the price going to over 300 eventually. Once it breaks this area, this 260s, then it could head to, even before it gets to that 300s, I would be looking at about 280, and then probably around 291, low 290s, and then 300, and then upward toward 310, 305 to 310, somewhere in there. Yeah, so that would be some levels that I would be looking at, and I'll just go ahead and mark those targets so that I'll have that visual reminder first of all. So I'm just going to start here. So we'll just call this target 1, and we're going to leave this solid, leave it as a solid line, but we're going to make it bigger. Yeah, target 1, and then target 2, I said, was right around the 290s area. Yeah, we'll just do that. Target 2. And target 3 would be right at the top side of this box here that I drew. And so we'll just notate this one as well. Make that target 3. Okay. So I'm not really going to go lower than this daily chart, to be honest with you. I'll just kind of keep it there. Um, it doesn't have enough price action to form a 200-day moving average, but the 50-day moving average is right at 245. So watch that level to the downside. So um, take note that the price recently crossed that 50-day moving average, which is usually significant, especially since it's been trading below that 50-day moving average for quite some time now. So I'm just going to make a note. So recent push above 50 DMA. Going to make that white, slightly bigger, and bold. All right. So basically, a bullish hypothesis for me on Coinbase would be, maybe the price, maybe it retests this 50-day moving average, um, and maybe even slightly lower into the mid to low 240s, and then makes that push toward 260 and breaks out there. But for me, like I said, I would like to see the price get up to 255 and maybe even over 260 before I took a long position. And then on the flip side, if it fails at either of those levels, so like if it gets to 260 and fails, then I'd be looking at the price pushing back down toward that middle 250s or maybe even lower, um, and going back into and continuing to consolidate inside this range. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to Coinbase. Not gonna like again, it's not gonna be a whole lot because there's not a whole lot of information here on Coinbase, to be honest with you. I am seeing that, maybe it's forming a nice rounded bottom here, so maybe it's just kind of slowly making its way back up toward 300. But time will tell. Time will tell, so we'll see. But I'll definitely be trying to keep an eye on that. Um, but yeah, this is day 12 of the 30-day chart challenge. I appreciate you guys watching yet another video. This one will go out sometime tomorrow morning. Again, if you have any tickers that you'd like for me to check out, feel free to leave them in the comment section and I will throw them in the queue. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you for day 13 or day 14, actually.